You ever wake up in a place that shouldn't exist? I'm not talking about some abandoned house or creepy basement. I mean a place that feels custom built to mess with your mind. No windows, no doors, just a bed, a TV, a metal slot in the wall that delivers food. You scream, no one answers. You bang on the walls, nothing. That's where I lived for 15 years. I know what you're thinking. What did you do? Trust me, I asked myself that question a million times. Was it someone I hurt? A random mistake I forgot about? Some secret enemy? I didn't know. All I had was a TV, a pen, and a notebook. I wrote everything down, every day, every theory, every hallucination. The room wasn't just physical, it was psychological warfare. Sometimes they gassed me in my sleep. When I woke up, my nails were trimmed, hair cut. Like someone was maintaining me, keeping me alive, but never speaking to me. And I swear, they wanted me to go insane. I kept track of time by the news. Presidents changed. Disasters happened. A whole world kept turning out there while I rotted in that coffin. My body stayed the same, but my mind? It turned into something dark. I trained with the only tool I had, my body. Push-ups, sit-ups, kicks. I was going to survive. I was going to find out why. And then just as suddenly as it started, it ended. I woke up in a suitcase. Not metaphorically, a literal suitcase left in the middle of a rooftop. I unzipped it, stumbled out, blinking in the sunlight like a ghost. 15 years underground, and suddenly I'm just free? No note, no explanation. Just a phone and a voice that called me by name and said, "Find me." So I did. I had no choice. I needed answers more than I needed food, air, anything. What came next? That's the part I'm still trying to live with. I didn't even know what city I was in. Everything looked familiar but wrong, like a dream version of home. My legs felt like jelly, but adrenaline kept me moving. I wandered the streets like a ghost until I found a diner. The kind of place where no one asks questions, just serves greasy food to broken people. I ordered dumplings. Something about them felt familiar. That's when it started. The taste, the smell, the texture. My body froze. This was the exact meal I'd been eating for years in the cell. Same brand, same filling, same burn on the roof of my mouth. I dropped the chopsticks. It wasn't a coincidence. I asked the waitress where the dumplings came from. She shrugged. Local joint. They deliver. I pressed her. She gave me a name, and I knew what I had to do. I went from dumpling shop to dumpling shop. Everyone in the city ate their food, took notes, compared textures, spice levels, portion size. Portion? Sounds insane, right? But I was desperate. I was tracing flavor like a bloodhound until I found it, the one. The taste matched perfectly. I waited behind a dumpster for their delivery guy to show up. When he did, I followed his scooter for hours. Block after block, delivery after delivery. Until he pulled into a narrow alley and stopped in front of a bland concrete building. No signs, no windows. Just a steel door and a security camera staring straight down. My heart nearly stopped. This was it. This was the place. The camera followed me as I approached, but no one came out. I banged on the door. Nothing. I screamed at it, begged for someone to explain. Then the door buzzed and opened. But instead of walking in, I froze. 15 years of silence had taught me something. Never trust the easy way in. I backed off. I needed to regroup. That night, I checked into a rundown motel and stared at the phone that had come with me in the suitcase. No lock screen, no apps, just one number in the contacts. I pressed it. The voice on the other end said, "Did you enjoy your meal?" I couldn't breathe. "You're getting closer," the voice said, "but don't rush. You only get one chance at the truth." Then it hung up. That's when it hit me. This wasn't just about revenge. This was a game, and I was playing it whether I wanted to or not, and someone was always 10 steps ahead. I didn't sleep, couldn't. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw that door. The one that opened for me like a mouth waiting to swallow me whole. I kept hearing the voice from the phone, smooth and amused, like this was all entertainment. My pain was someone's script. The next day I went back to the alley. This time the building was locked tight again. No buzzing, no camera movement. It was like it had vanished into itself. I waited, but no one came. Hours passed. Eventually I wandered into a library nearby. I figured if someone had wiped me off the face of the earth, maybe I could find out who I used to be. But there were no records, no police report, no obituary, nothing. Like I had never existed. The erasure wasn't sloppy, it was surgical. That's when I met her. She was working at the front desk, cataloging books like she'd done it 100 times before, but something about her drew me in. Maybe it was the calm in her eyes, or maybe it was the way she looked at me. Like I wasn't crazy. She asked if I needed help. I told her, I'm looking for someone who erased my life. Most people would have laughed. She didn't. Instead, she said, you look like someone who needs a real meal and a conversation. I followed her to a small apartment 2 blocks away. She made ramen, strong and spicy. As we ate, I noticed a tattoo on her wrist, a tiny knife, barely visible unless you were looking. She told me her name was Mina, that she used to work in trauma rehab, that she had a thing for lost causes. I didn't tell her everything, just the basics. 15 years, locked away, someone watching me. I left out the part about the phone, the dumplings, the building. I didn't want to drag her in. But she looked at me and said, you've been conditioned. What do you mean? She tapped her temple. Whoever did this to you didn't just want you gone. They wanted to reshape you. Isolation, repetition, food association. It's programming. I stared at her. No one had put it that clearly before, not even me. Then she asked something that chilled me. Do you think they're done with you? I didn't know what to say. Was this the end of the nightmare or just another layer? Later that night, as I showered, I caught my reflection in the mirror. My face looked the same, but my eyes, they were colder, meaner. Like the man I used to be was gone, and in his place, something else was waking up, something that wanted answers and didn't care who got hurt in the process. Mina let me crash on her couch that night. I didn't trust easily, but she had this grounded presence. Like if the world was on fire, she'd still find a way to make tea and talk you through it. The next morning, I woke to her scrolling through old newspaper clippings online, local crime reports, obituaries, political scandals. She was trying to piece together any lead that could link to my disappearance. And then she found it, a single photo in a low-resolution article, dated exactly 15 years ago. A company gala, CEOs, investors, socialites, and right in the background, me. Standing next to a man with a cane and a smirk that could rot steel. I didn't recognize him, but something about his face made my stomach twist. We zoomed in. He was tagged, Adrian Kwan. Venture capitalist, tech industry disruptor, mysterious reclusive genius. Also, a man who went completely off the radar 15 years ago, the exact time I was taken. Coincidence? No chance. I had a name, a face, and something new, a direction. That night, I followed up at the last known address listed in the article. It was a mansion now rotting in the hills, security cameras busted, garden overgrown. But there was something still alive in it. Energy, presence. I scaled the gate, slipped inside. In the living room, the dust was thick, but on the table sat a single object that didn't belong, a photo album. Clean, recent. It was filled with pictures of me, in the cell, sleeping, eating, staring into space. Pages and pages of surveillance, time-stamped and obsessively organized. And taped to the last page was a note. You're getting warmer. I heard something shift behind me, turned fast. Just the wind, I thought. But when I turned back, the photo album was gone. Someone was watching me, still. When I got back to Mina, I told her everything. Her face went pale, but she didn't back down. She said, this guy, Kwan, He's not just rich, he's surgical. He doesn't want to kill you. He wants you to unravel. I knew then that this wasn't just about revenge. This was about control. And whoever Adrian Kwan was, he knew exactly what he was doing. 3 days later, a black envelope arrived at Mina's doorstep. No stamp, no return address, just our names written in gold ink. Inside was a formal invitation to a private event hosted by, you guessed it, Adrian Kwan. Mina wanted to burn it. I wanted to walk into that party and tear the roof off. The address led to a towering glass skyscraper downtown. Security waved us through like they'd been expecting us. Inside, everything was gleaming. Waiters in white gloves, people in designer suits, laughter echoing off marble floors. I felt like a ghost in someone else's dream. And then he walked in. Adrian Kwan, same smirk, same cane, and eyes like razors. He saw me, raised his glass, and walked straight over. 15 years, he said like it was small talk. You held up well. I didn't respond. I was shaking, not from fear, from pressure. Rage, confusion, grief, all pressed against my ribs like a ticking bomb. Why? I finally asked. He smiled wider. You hurt someone important, and you forgot. I said, I never did anything to you. He leaned in. No, but you did something to her. And just like that, he walked away. The rest of the night blurred. Faces, lights, meaningless chatter. I was suffocating in elegance. Then as we were leaving, a woman brushed past me. In her hand was a photo. She slipped it into my coat pocket without a word. Back at Mina's apartment, I pulled it out. It was old, faded, a school photo. Me as a teenager, standing next to a girl, same uniform, same age. Her face was scribbled out, but I recognized the necklace she wore. It matched the one Mina kept in her drawer. I turned to her. Is this you? She didn't answer. That silence said more than anything. Mina sat across from me, silent. I held the photo in my hands like it might explode. Tell me the truth, I said. Is this you? She nodded slowly. Yes, but I didn't know you remembered. I didn't, I said, until now. She took a shaky breath. We were in school together, same class. You don't remember me because you weren't supposed to. I felt my throat tighten. What happened? You spread a rumor, she said, one that ruined my life. The words hit harder than any punch. What rumor? She looked away. That I was sleeping with my brother. I froze. I never... She held up her hand. I don't think you even meant it. I think you were just a bored, stupid teenager. You said it to someone and it spread. My family fell apart. My parents divorced. My brother, Adrian, lost everything. He was bullied, laughed at, humiliated. She finally looked at me. He left the country. I didn't hear from him again until 5 years ago. He tracked me down, told me he had a plan. The room spun. So you helped him. I didn't know what he was going to do to you, I swear. He said he wanted closure, that's all. I didn't know about the prison, not until much later. I stood up, pacing. 15 years. Tortured for a sentence I didn't even remember saying. A lie I didn't know I told. And now here she was, my only ally, maybe my only friend. And I didn't know if I could trust a single word. He's not done, Mina said. He's planned every moment, every encounter, even this. She handed me a flash drive. He gave me this, said if you ever found out the truth, to play it. I plugged it into her laptop. The video loaded. It was footage from the room, but this time I wasn't alone. There was another person, a woman, face blurred, but her voice, it was unmistakable. It was Mina's. I couldn't breathe. The footage played on loop. Me, confused, drugged, and Mina whispering to me while I slept, repeating things, programming me, over and over. She tried to explain, said she was forced, said Adrian made her do it, but all I could hear was static, 15 years of it. And now the only person I trusted was part of the machinery. I'm sorry, she said. I tried to undo it, I didn't know how. I left her apartment without a word. The city lights felt foreign, the air too sharp. I didn't know what was real anymore. My past, my thoughts, even my memories. All of it was a maze he built. Then my phone buzzed. A text, just an address. I went. It led me to a rooftop, empty but for 2 chairs, a table, and Adrian waiting with a drink in hand. "You made it," he said. "Why me?" I asked. He smiled. "Because you took everything from me. And I wanted you to know how that felt." "I didn't even remember," I said. "Exactly," he whispered. "You destroyed my life and walked away whistling. But now, you'll never forget." He slid an envelope across the table. Inside was a birth certificate, my name, and another name listed under child. The woman in the video, the one with the blurred face, my cellmate, the one I'd been conditioned to care for, protect, love. I dropped the paper. "You didn't just imprison me," I said. "You made me," he nodded, "fall in love with your own daughter. You didn't know, but you do now." I screamed, swung the chair. He didn't flinch. "Kill me if you want," he said, "but you'll live with the truth either way." I didn't kill him, because he was right. He'd already won. I didn't go back to Mina's. I didn't go anywhere. I wandered for hours, then days, my phone off, my mind shattered. I tried to remember who I was before all of this, before the cell, before the conditioning. But that version of me, he's gone, replaced by this hollow thing walking around in my skin. I thought the room was my prison. It wasn't. This is, because now I know who I am, what I did, what I became. And I can't undo any of it. I checked into a hotel under a fake name. I burned every photo, every note, every trace of Adrian and Mina. But their fingerprints are still all over me, inside me. Sometimes I wonder if I deserved it, if some careless teenage lie really could cause this much devastation. And then I remember her face, my daughter, her voice, the way I loved her, not knowing. And I want to tear my brain out just to make it stop, but it won't. This is the new cell. No walls, no guards, just memory and shame. And the worst part, I don't even know if this was the end. Or if Adrian left a few more moves on the board. So I wait. I wait for the phone to ring again. Because when you break someone's world, you better believe they'll find a way to break yours. And if they're patient enough, they'll make sure you never escape, not even from yourself.